Yes, how can I help you? My people mostly leave such matters to our spinners to share, rather than writing it down. I have something, but I can't imagine you'd want an Akaviri spy's writings on our heritage. A cultural infiltration document. Complete garbage. Really? You read Akaviri? Well, no matter. You're welcome to it. Let me see, I'll have a copy around here somewhere. A moment, please. Here we are. One flawed Akaviri depiction of my people.
Have you found the one I asked you to look for?
I hope you find it as amusing as I did.
Must be around here.
I have more than a few copies, so keep the book as long as you wish. Shame none of them are the translated versions.
It's good to see you. Ilsil's been assisting me with a certain project. Before long, Aurelian will be free to leave Kanathe's roost. Soon. I'm certain of it.
Have we met? You seem quite familiar. I'm demonstrably busy at the moment. It seems a colleague of mine couldn't avoid a simple spiritual possession on Kanathe's roost. You understand, I'm sure.
My eyes look red to you.
I've heard of your deeds in Fair Traveller. That was just as well done.
You're a bold one to approach so fearlessly. Give me a good reason to speak with you. I'll make it seem like you're here at my request. Otherwise, my subjects will think you cut the line and start sizing you up for dinner. How thoughtful! I could hardly turn down such a generous gift, especially with the trouble brewing in Eldenroot. How are you at building embassies? You see, Queen Irene promised one would be built for the Khajiit as a gesture of goodwill. But now a year has passed and there's still no Khajiit embassy. This has led to no end of headaches. Good question. You wish to serve the Comoran throne? You can start by asking Prince Naaman why his people aren't fulfilling their promises. He's the one who seems to have the entire Elden Tree lodged up his flue. I can say that. I'm the king.
Yes? Quickly now. Don't leave your mouth to hang agape. That again? My sister, Queen Irene, foolishly committed to build the Khajiit an embassy months ago. Everything was to be handled through Ambassador Tarinwe at the Ultima Embassy. No, you don't get to question me, not after you slew High Kinlady Estri. Do you think I'm one to have a chat with the person who killed my wife? That will break out the Sylphmead and share a good laugh? I suppose that's my burden. Very well, I won't give you the satisfaction of doubting my loyalty. You were asking after the Khajiit? Ask a stonemason. I have to prepare for the ratification ceremony before Queen Irene's arrival. I can't be troubled with such minor issues. If you care to pursue the matter, speak with Ambassador Tarinway at the Altmer Embassy. An archaic wood elf ritual. If she dances to their tune, Queen Irene will be recognized by the heavens as a worthy candidate for Emperor of Tamriel. Rubbish, if you ask me. To promote harmony, she'd tell you. The same reason she picked this bizarre tree city as the Dominion's capital. She wants every member of the Dominion to feel as though they're equal. Oh, we need to be unified against our enemies, and having a high elf in charge is paramount to our success. But do we really need all this coddling? The ratification ceremony, the business with the embassy, more problems due to harmony?
You're not one for waiting in lines, are you?
Alms for the poor.
Don't lie, Catman. I saw you eat that flower.
What do you have there? A book? This book. It's written in Akaviri. This is wonderful. Nobody here will be able to find the source of my stories if they're written in another language. My Akaviri is a bit stale, but I think I can manage. You're welcome to stay for my performance.
Do you have them? You have them, don't you? Oh, I shouldn't get my hopes up. They fell in the sea, didn't they? I knew it. I have the worst luck. Wonderful! That's everything I need. Once Haven gets its act together, they can deliver an empty trunk. You're welcome to stay for the show. Sit wherever you like. You won't regret it. Unless you hate stage performances. Then you'll regret it. But hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Good luck finding the mud crab eyes. Only if you have the time. I realize it's not the most glamorous request. Would you look at that? Just the smell of the thing seems to have perked them up. I'll see if I can use them to motivate my little friends.
Would you look at that line? We're drawing more people than in Auradon. We'll perform our hearts out. The Wood Elves will see there's more to the Somerset Isles than stuffy politicians. Return any time you wish. If there's enough call for it, we may have new performances to share.
You know, I think he's less stubborn this way. All right. I suppose we've had our fun. Time to restore my assistant. Sulamere, return to your true nature.
You fool! You foiled my plans and revealed my true form to everyone in this wretched land.
Sulamere, you were a Jamora all along. I won't allow you to harm these fine people.
You think you can stop me?
No! Release me!
And now for the rest of you.
You forgot one thing, foul creature.
What might that be, mortal?
The people of Grahtwood are closely tied to the forest itself, and you cannot withstand the might of the Green Pact.
This can't be happening. The Green Pact isn't real.
It's real enough to kick you back into the pit from which you crawled. Everyone, bind your will to mine. Together we can banish him.
No, not back to oblivion.
With your help, we've banished the foul Jamora. Behold the might of the Green Pact. I hope everyone enjoyed the show.
Elden route doesn't need your construction.
I suppose a wanderer like you wouldn't know what busy looks like. I will demonstrate. Feel free to observe, quietly and from a distance. Oh, forgive my manners. There's so much to do in preparing for Queen Irene's ratification ceremony. Tempers fray, as I'm sure you can understand. But if Prince Naaman sent you, it must be important. What can I do for you? Why would Prince Naaman care about that? If they are too lazy to build their own embassy, can't they afford an inn? Well, of course, I ordered it done. I hired some wood elves to excavate the stone and set aside supplies for Khajiit to use. It isn't my fault if the locals couldn't do their jobs. Check our storeroom. The Khajiit didn't even bother to pick up the supplies. In the meantime, I'm off to locate Prince Naaman. If he didn't send you here with his blessing, I'll see you face Dominion justice.
I always admired Sirabane. Someday, I hope to be so well known in Altmeri culture as that particular hero sorceress. It shall not, I expect, be through my diligent bookkeeping and efficient management skills that I become so well known.
Excuse me. You are in my light. We are establishing a scene here. You are interfering in art. Please leave.
Whatever you intend to do while here, please refrain from interfering with my model. It has taken me ages to coerce him into catching the light as he has. Any interruption and he might throw a tantrum and storm off.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on outside. I doubt it really matters in the grand scope of things. Peasants being peasants, I assume.
That's far enough. The storeroom is off limits. Ambassador, she did. That's different then. Show me her orders and I'll stand aside. Then I can't let you inside. Her instructions were very specific. No one gets in without her written permission. I'm to remain at my post until relieved. Except in an emergency, of course. The Khajiits could riot. That would be bad. Very bad. Or a fire, of course. But the chances of that happening are slim. What? Did you hear that? I could have sworn it was my captain calling me away.
Where is the guard? And what are you doing here? I'd expected you would solve problems at the embassy, not cause them. Do you realize what's happening out here? Oh, never mind. Explain what you were doing in that storeroom. Why would she do that? Oh, never mind. Well, what did you find? Typical bureaucratic corruption. I expected better of the ambassador. No matter. Supplies can be replaced. What about the Khajiit embassy? Did she say why construction hasn't begun? What do you mean, collect stone? That should have happened months ago. They should be ready to build it. I'll talk to the ambassador myself. Put the fear of the Dominion into her. I'm surprised we didn't pass each other on the road. Get to those ruins and find that work crew. I want to know why they haven't done their jobs. I won't have Queen Irene's word impugned by someone else's incompetence.
You there. We need to talk. Saw you standing over the body of a dead wood elf. Nearly put an arrow in your throat. Good thing I recognise you. Azerith, I'm Dusk Ranger. We work directly for King Camoran Eredon. Saw you earlier in the throne room. The king had his suspicions about the missing work crew and asked me to look into it. Seems we both have a stake in this. I know enough. Khajiit are owed an embassy. They're angry the High Elves are dragging their feet to build it. Seemed like politics until a dozen stonemasons vanished without a trace. The king sent me to find out why. Before the Dominion, King Camoran Eredon nearly lost a civil war. I came to see if the missing stonemasons were targeted by the Blacksap Rebellion. But Blacksap would have displayed the bodies, not left them as food for Horvor. The king suspects Ambassador Tarinwe has been up to no good. Little things, some of her associations. But he can't accuse his allies of undermining the whole alliance. So he sent me to deal with it. Ambassador Tarinwe used criminals to smuggle supplies. Never directly, but enough for us to notice. I'm not saying she had these stonemasons killed, but I'd like to ask her myself. Problem is, there's nothing we can do while she's in the Altmer embassy. If she left the embassy, she knows someone's onto her. She'll go to ground, try to flee. Have someone smuggle her out of Grahtwood. We should probably stop her. Meet me by the Middens, at the base of the Elden Tree. I'll be there shortly.
Yeah.
my notes. I can't believe it. I thought I'd lost these for good. You can't know what this means to me. This was my life's work. Everything I've learned in 20 years of studying Kwama. I thought I was going to have to give up, find something new. Thank you so much.
You look like someone who seeks to travel while earning honest coin. Would you like to hear about a great opportunity for both of these ambitions? It's simple, really. I need someone to travel to Redford Trading Post and inquire about my lost shipment with Arana Kane, the customs clerk. It's incredibly late, and the alchemist that ordered it is not the most patient of clients. Grand! If you could, pick up the shipment and bring it back to me. I'd go myself, but Arana Kane and I, well, we're not on the best of terms. A misunderstanding, but hazardous to my health. Tell her you're there for Tree Shade Imports. The customs clerk in Redford Trading Post should be able to help you locate my shipment. The client is not a patient woman, so do hurry.
My husband, Ninglanel, went for a walk yesterday morning. Said he wanted to get away from the squabbling at Eldenroot. He hasn't come back. I went looking for him this morning with our dog, and now my dog has wandered off. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. The last place I saw our dog eat was near the fork in the road that leads to Cormount, just west of here. Take this whistle. Use it when you get to the fork in the road. I'll wait here in case he comes home.
I don't guess you've run into a big, lumbering brute of an orc in your travels. Named Storg. Was a friend of mine. Emphasis on the was. I'm in a pile of trouble because of him. Maybe you've heard of the rite of theft, a wood elf tradition. If you pull off a particularly clever theft, you can demand payment from the owner for their things. Well, I stole this tree thane's bow, and then Storg stole the bow from me. The tree thane wants his bow back, and if I can't give it to him, he's going to have me hauled in and whipped. Last I heard, Storg was headed toward Vine Death Cave. The tree thane won't let me leave town. Could you look for Storg?
They call this place the Middens because it's where all the refuse ends up. We clear them out now and again, but they always come back. Necessary evil, I'm told. Spoke with someone I trust. She's definitely here. We should get moving. We're not far behind her. Capture her, bring her in for questioning. Find proof she's behind this so Prince Naiman doesn't explode with outrage. Never thought I'd hunt a high elf ambassador. Smugglers, skooma addicts, and more than a few criminals. They keep to themselves, but sometimes they band together to repel outsiders. Kind of like a filthier version of the Dominion. Our goal is to find Ambassador Tarinway before she buys passage out of Grahtwood. Staying in the shadows, avoiding unnecessary conflict. That's what I'd do. But there's a lot of ground to search. I'll follow your lead.
Could you help me out?
We need Ambassador Tarinway alive. But if she runs, I'm putting an arrow through her ankle.
Prince Lehman sent someone to the embassy. We have to leave before we're discovered.
On your feet! You're coming with me.
Why? Where are you taking me?
To King Camoran Eridan, where you'll answer for crimes against the Dominion.
He'll have me killed and served for dinner.
Only if you're proven guilty. And if you are, none of us could stomach you. Now get moving! Good working with you. I'll take her from here. You should inform the king of the good news.
I'll never feel right again.
It just won't stop.
First, I eat. Then...
You've returned. What have you learned of the Khajiit embassy? Oh, good. Nothing I enjoy more than talk of conspiracy. Did the ambassador have a manifesto? They usually have manifestos. No matter. I trust you resolved it. Splendid. I'll allow you the honour of informing Prince Naaman. Why not tell him the duly selected High Elf ambassador was working against the very dominion she pledged to support? I'll sit in my throne and try not to gloat.
I heard what you said to the king. Ambassador Tarinway, a traitor, my wife's killer, a loyal servant, and I, Queen Iren's representative in Eldenroot, required to thank you for your efforts. Very well. I'll provide no reason to question my duty to the Dominion. We'll interrogate Ambassador Tarinway until we know the extent of her treason. Then she'll die, as all traitors must. But no matter. Your efficiency in resolving this matter was commendable, and the Dominion rewards its servants. Ambassador Tarinway's betrayal could not have been more absolute. She knew the details of the ratification ceremony, which puts Queen Iren at risk. It's my sister's own fault. She thought to appease the Sylvanar and the Main by agreeing to this foolish process. The ratification ceremony ends with the orrery, an ancient device beneath Eldenroot. It will divine Queen Iren's capacity to become Empress, or some such. But Ambassador Tarinway assisted in the preparations. I must assume she tried to sabotage the proceedings. Doing so would make Queen Iren look weak. No, we must proceed. You've proven your competence, so I'll ask you to speak with Melaras. He's an expert on the orrery and knows what must be done. Quite pleasant once you grow accustomed to the smell. The preparations for this ratification ceremony seem endless, but I'm up to the task. She asked how she could prove herself their rightful leader. The Sylvanar suggested the orrery nonsense, and the Main agreed. Of course, neither will be present to see it, yet my sister is held to her pledge. How unexpected. Khajiiti political excuses are impossible to discern. I know the Main will not be present, and that's all I care to know. As for the Sylvanar, he died on Kenathi's roost, thought he could negotiate with the filthy sea elves. King Camoran Eredan, it's beneath his city, so there's no turning him away. And myself, of course.
Please don't mind Prince Naaman. Ambassador Turinway's betrayal is a shock to us all. But no matter, the orrery must work flawlessly for the Queen. That's what we will ensure. Enough to be of service. The orrery hasn't functioned as intended for ages. We planned to use some rather delicate magic to trick it into operation. But if Prince Naaman believes there was sabotage, we must look to an alternative method. Why, we'll look to the past. According to legend, the orrery required a skilled operator, an alien source of power, and a divine spark before it would function. Without all three, it won't do anything but spin. Quite pretty, but not very useful. I've researched this a bit. Really, you need to be in 3 places at once. Simple, right? But the Fallen Esti winter site is rumoured to hold a relic of the Khajiiti thief god. For our purposes, Radchin's mantle will serve as the divine spark, if it's truly there, of course. The heart of a numeral originally brought life to the orrery, according to the texts. It long ago went missing, but a member of the local mages guild named Larinalda theorizes it's in a local Aeliad ruin. She's currently at the Reliquary of Stars, seeking the heart of a numeral. Wonderful! Have anything you find sent directly to the orrery. Once everything is in place, we can begin the ratification ceremony. And do refrain from referring to Conservator Daraneth as a missing element.
Ironic. Huh. We come back to my homeland and I'm the one that falls into a ravine. I used to scale these rocks like they were stairs. I guess none of us are immune to the ravages of time. Just give me a second and I'll head back home. I knew Eat wouldn't leave me here to rot. Miss Zahabi will be worried sick. Thank you.
Our family is back together. I can never thank you enough.
When you are destroyed, the flies will pick your bones clean. When you destroy the next, this one will have returned.
Stay back. There's only death ahead. Shades boiled out of the ground and fell upon us. So much death. Mages' Guild. They were excavating this ruin for artifacts, but they woke something up. Some of the acolytes are still trapped inside. If I don't do something, those acolytes are done for. But I've lost a lot of blood.
You arrived in the nick of time.
Thank you. I can make it back to camp from here.
Follow me quickly, before any more of them return.
Research. All I want to do is research. Why do I always end up in life or death situations? Either in Darwin's Cursed or I am. Shades boiling up from the ground? What next? Trolls in heat? We were excavating for artifacts when Dominion soldiers showed up, demanding we turn over anything we'd found. And Darwin showed them what we had, but Lieutenant Urian insisted we work faster. No protocols, no safeguards. I have no idea. The Mages Guild has procedures for a reason. Not that the soldiers listened. We found an ancient scepter made from bone, but before we could properly contain the artifact, one of those idiots grabbed it. That's right. And if it weren't for you, I'd have joined them. I'm heading back to our base camp. You should speak with Darwin if you think you can help sort out this mess. You can't be any worse than Lieutenant Orion.
What are you doing? That's not your property. That bone scepter is the only thing of note we found. There's no end of trouble since we pulled it from the ruin. It's not dangerous, not directly. What I mean to say is that holding it won't rot your hand off. At least not immediately. It summons all the shades, I suspect. It certainly doesn't control them. Not that I've found anyway. Although, the markings carved into the scepter are all Aliad, for Pale Sentinel. Could that mean the creature at the heart of the ruin? It's the only shade we've heard speak, though it mostly just wails. It is rather pale, come to think of it, and the scepter works obsidian into bone, which is an old form of necromantic control. Say, would you care to help prove a theory? If that shade is in fact the Pale Sentinel, that bone scepter may have some control over it. And if it's directing the rest of the shades, perhaps you could force it to stop. Besides, we can't allow Telekar's ancient traps to remain active. Not this close to Elden Root. He was a necromancer, one of Mannimarco's most talented apprentices, but he and his wife Vestari eventually left Mannimarco's tutelage. It isn't entirely clear. There are many theories, but they all boil down to a difference of opinion. Seems to be the way of things with necromancers.
We should head to Elden Root. The Mages Guild will want to hear of this mess.
Leave this place. I won't let you wake him. Leave this place. I won't let you wake him. The Bone Scepter. No, please, don't wake him. Stop! Don't make me go back. I was so close to escaping him forever. Telekar. A bad man who sleeps inside these ruins. When he wakes, I'll be trapped here forever. I'll do everything I can to get away. I did not! Telekar's servants hurt those people. They don't like you if you aren't from here. When he wakes, he'll control them completely. Just like me. The Bone Scepter holds power over Telekar's monsters. Over me. I can't lie to you. Besides, lying is wrong. one of Telekar's victims. But I don't have to be. If you can free me before he wakes, I'll leave. Then he'll go back to sleep forever. Hooray! Follow me inside the ruin. We don't want the Shades to hear us. They're his spies, you know. Quiet in here. Telekar's servants don't like things with blood inside them. And they really don't like noise. There's a big sparkly door inside the Constellation Room. It's this big lock Vistari made, to keep him asleep inside. She doesn't come around anymore. I think that's why the door isn't so sparkly. Telekar's wife. They fought and fought, because he was a bad man, and she was a good woman. But she thought she could change him. When she realized he'd always been bad, she locked him in here. But the lock grew weak, and now he's waking. Vistari left 3 of the things we need in special rooms around the ruins. The 4th is stuck inside some of Telekar's servants. If you smash them open, I won't tell. But about all the pieces, I don't know how to make them work together. I'm sorry. That's easy. The morning room, the smelly room, and the forbidden room. But don't worry, I can keep you safe. We should just go there. I'll point out what we need. I can distract Telekar's servants. Point the bone scepter at one of them and I'll blind it. Then you can smack it until it falls down. Don't worry, it's not like you're hurting it. They get back up again, eventually. Oh, all right. The most important thing is the book Vistari wrote in when she locked the door. We need to find that so we know what to do in the Constellation Room. There's an old skull Telekar stole from Menamarco. Then there's a glowy vial. I don't know what's inside, but if you listen real close, you can hear whispers. Oh, and the Milky Rocks. You'll find those inside some of Telekar's servants. Behold, the Forbidden Room. I come here to think sometimes. It's where Vistari left the book she wrote in when she put Telekar to sleep. Like the Moni room. All the servants used to live in the cages. But Vistari brought that old skull back here. I'm sure of it. It's the smelly room. That glowy vial lit the hallways when Vistari carried it back from the Constellation room. That's the last of them. We have all the pieces. We should go to the Constellation room and put Telekar back to sleep. You have everything Vistari had when she made Telekar go to sleep. Something's happening. I think it's working.
Who are you? How dare you intrude within my... What? It's
No!
you!
Let me go!
You there! Explain yourself. What are you doing in my home? Who are you? Why have you invaded my home? The Shades defend my home from thieves. Neither I nor my servants bear any interest in the living. My work concerns one who died long ago. And now, I would know why this creature travels with you. Simple-minded thing. Those wards have contained me for decades. I remain within by choice. Now, I'm at a critical juncture in my research, and I need this creature to complete it. If you interfere, I'll drive you from my home. Now, be gone.
No, please! I don't want to stay here!
You dare interrupt me? Kalian, my son, see to this intruder. Again, you trouble me at a critical juncture. What must I do to hasten your departure? Attempting to restore my son despite your interruptions. That creature is a piece of him, an imperfect piece. If I reunite flesh and spirit, I can revive my son. He's my son. I'd do anything to restore him to a fraction of himself. With refinement, I can make him whole again. Vastari thought this hubris. If she hadn't left this world, I'd try to make her understand that we could one day be a family again. I needed time to refine my methods, and time I have had. And now I have his spirit. I don't wish to harm this creature. But without the bone scepter to control it, I must resort to cruder methods. You what? That scepter is crafted from my own bones. It can bind the creature to his immortal husk. Once Kalian's wounds knit, I'll summon him here. You must bind the creature to his husk, set things to how they should be. No. You fear I would raise an undead army to march through Grahtwood? My wife and I spurned Manimarco for a reason. But in return for binding this creature to my son's husk, I pledge we will remain within our home forever. He was young when he had his accident. Too young. The creature you've met can't fully comprehend the world around it. Unless properly supervised, it could harm itself or others without knowing what it did. No, to set it free would be a cruelty. Kalian is my son. I needed all his remains to craft the husk, so I had to use my own for the scepter. To command a spirit, use a focus made of its bones or those of its close relatives. Basic necromantic principle. I broke through Vastari's ward just under a century ago. I have remained here ever since, attempting to restore what remained of my family. I will never leave, as long as Kalian remains at my side. This is my home.
No, please. You can't make me be a monster again. I don't want to be here anymore. It hurt when I was a monster. It hurt worse than these chains. I want my father to sleep so I can go away. I don't know. I wish you could use the bone scepter on him. Point it at his body. There on the throne. And tell him to go to sleep. Then I could finally leave. Far away from here. Somewhere safe and warm. Somewhere where I'd have friends.
No! What are you... What?
You did it! You did it! I'm free! I'm finally free! Thank you. Thank you! I don't know, but whatever it is, I'll be far away from here. Telekar can't hurt me anymore. Here, I can open a portal so you can be with your friends. Tell them I'm sorry about the Shades. As long as they stay away, they should be fine.
In the shadow of... Perfectly safe, you said.
Mortal, you stand above the sealed ruins of Leiloria. Within is a gateway to Cold Harbor, where my priestess, Kulanway, suffers at the hands of Molag Bal. Her pain is so great, it has torn a hole between worlds. This injustice must end. I am the Daedric, Prince of Dawn and Dusk, who weeps for Kulanway's suffering. I am the Mother of the Rose, who sealed Leiloria away from your world. I am Azura, mortal, and I would have you end Kulanway's endless torment. Long ago, the wizard Vastari came to Leiloria. She sought to end Kulanway's suffering, but Vastari failed and was lost. Go to Vistari's tower, retrace her path into Leiloria, and mortal, set Kulanway's bones to rest. Vastari kept careful records of her struggle to pierce Leiloria's seal. They remain scattered in her tower. Find them, use them to breach the seal and recover Kulanway. A powerful wizard who built the tower behind you. She studied Leiloria for years, always patient, until finally she found a way through. But despite her preparations, Molag Bal's servants overwhelmed her companions. She was forever lost. Leiloria is the mouth of a bottle that floats through Cold Harbor. My seal is the cork. Should I release the seal, Molag Bal's servants will pour into Leiloria until they have nowhere else to go but here. Vistari found a way to slip past the seal, as must you.
again? I mean, yes, mortal? Greetings, outsider. As the will of my prince is eternal, I heed your call. Azura. You know of Azura, don't you? Erai the Fleet, she named me. But that was long ago. This shriveled vessel is but a shadow of my former glory. My wings ache to soar the skies of oblivion once more. The Starry pierced the seal with a relic known as the Twilight Heart. It still stands before the gates of Leyloria, bereft of magical energies. You'll need to feed it souls, and with all these Daedra about, you'll have your pick. The wizard Vastari kept quite the stock of sigil geodes, which I suppose should do. There are still some around. I can smell them from here. Of course, she was the last to summon me. Together we opened the ruins of Leyloria. She ventured in with her noble companions. I watched them die in a flood of Daedra. It was all I could do to escape and seal the ruin, Vastari's final command. Ignoring the fact that my prince's unbreakable will compels me to open the way to Leyloria, despite the unspeakably bloody terror to greet you on the other side. You could be Molag Bal himself for all I know. I'd still help you open the door, Lord of Brutality or not. You aren't him, are you? Good, good. I'd expect the Harvester of Souls to be taller. Try waiting in a rock until someone calls your name. Then watch them reduced to a smear of viscera the moment you do what they've asked you to do. You try to find joy where you can. The joy of aiding another, of course. Quite simple to use. Pointed at the Daedra you want to absorb, and the sigil geode does the rest.
Don't you?
The Twilight Heart thirsts for souls! And if I twist just so... The power! I'd forgotten how it feels! Follow, outsider. Come see my prince's glorious domain.
Yes, Irai, despite your efforts.
My prince's children were legion. They should have overwhelmed you.
Molag Bal's chattel are nothing to me.
Blasphemy!
Stranger, if you're a foe to Molag Bal, stand with me.
Fools! I'll feast upon your eyes! No! You won't defeat me again!
You've nowhere to fly, fiend. You can't escape me. The sigil geode? Do you still have it? Touching the sigil geode to Irai's forehead will absorb her soul. It's the only way we'll ever leave this place. If she dies outside of that stone, we'll spend the next century counting the tiles in this place. I noted 32,708, but you're welcome to check my figures. In the depths of this ruin is a portal leading straight to Cold Harbor. We can only close it from the other side. Once in Cold Harbor, we'll have no hope of escape unless Irai is inside that stone. Quickly! I can't keep this up for long.
It doesn't matter what you do to me. You'll be dead or trapped for 1,000 years. Molag Bal is my prince, you fool! I let Vistari believe I was Azura's servant, just as I let you believe. I led you into Cold Harbor's grasp, morsels for the god of schemes to pick from between his teeth.
At last, after all these years. I'm not one to hope any creature suffers, but with Irai, I'll make an exception. She can spend eternity in the sigil geode for all I care. Irai is bound to her tablet. While she's within the sigil geode, we can use her as a tether to escape from Cold Harbor. If I hadn't been so quick to destroy her those years ago, my companions would still be alive. Come, we should retrieve Kulanwe. At the base of these ruins is the hole her torment tears between worlds. But the moment we enter, Molag Bal's servants are likely to sense our presence. I'd have long ago made the attempt myself, if I had anywhere to flee. We must find Kulanwe and free her from whatever cruel device causes her so much pain. Doing so should end her torment. When she no longer cries out, the rift between Cold Harbor and Leyloria should close, I hope. I kept this library clear of Daedra, but the chambers beyond are home to a variety of the creatures. It may be best to avoid them.
More blood on your hands.
Can you feel her suffering, her agony? For 1,000 years, her pain will tunneled through the void, always reaching for her last memories of a life free of suffering. No more! Shatter the stars with me. They shatter through waves of smashed Good. Now the other.
Thank you.
We've done it! We freed Kulanway from her torment. Oh, it was worth the wait. Irai brought us both through the seal. It's only fitting she bring us back. I can use the sigil geode to trace her soul back, and then it's a simple matter to open a portal. Are you ready? Then prepare yourself. Departing Cold Harbor is never easy. We should keep moving. It is... It is good to stand beneath the sky once more, to feel the breeze upon my skin. And I wouldn't have made it here without you. My home is always open to you, should you care to visit. 88 years, 3 months, 11 days, 13 hours, 7 minutes. All right, I'm showing off. I used a simple spell to mark the time. It was the first thing I did when I realized I was trapped. It's not entirely precise, so I had to guess the minutes. Clear my Tower of Daedra for one. Memorialize my companions who did not return. Organize my effects. Then I'll find out what has transpired in this world since I left. I have some catching up to do. I opened my home to many I met in my travels. A young Redguard swordsman, a scarred wood elf hunter, a Sijic outcast. I can still hear their voices. But that was 90 years ago. Those not killed by the Daedra must have fled. For a time, though I expect my attention shall be drawn elsewhere soon enough. There was something different in Cold Harbor. The air was a little too full, the fires too bright. Molag Baal's Corner of Oblivion holds many secrets. I plundered several from his halls a lifetime ago. Did you know? I did it to impress a boy. What a fool I was. Telakar, a powerful mage, brilliant, always focused upon his work, hardly striking, though such things never mattered to me. It took my escapade in Cold Harbor to convince him there were adventurous women outside of his books, but that was long ago. I have. Why do you ask? Then you know the tale it tells. Did you find anything else? I hoped that wretched thing would fade away. It was a pale shadow of my son, nothing more. Kalian died so long ago, but my husband couldn't put him to rest. You didn't meet my husband, did you? That makes no sense. An animated shade would have no desire to escape. It would only approximate reason. Tell me, why did it want to escape? Reason, fear, a sense of self-preservation. No, what have I done? You met Kalian's true spirit. I spurned it, him, as a mockery of my son's memory. Forgive me. I will set this right, but I don't care to speak of it right now.
Kulanwe, beloved of the Wild Ones, my priestess returns from the clutches of Cold Harbor at last. So I have seen. A mortal has managed what the eternal dead could not. Much when it is time. You have taught humility to a Daedric prince, mortal. Tread carefully, for he will attempt to exact his revenge. Now go with my blessing. When I have need of you, you will know.